Namaskar, my dear sisters and brothers. Please accept my heartfelt welcome to this 400th episode of Unke Khat or Aap. I bow before my Master for his grace and benevolence, and my heartfelt thanks to all of you, my sisters and brothers, for encouraging me. And without your encouragements, I could not have reached at the 400th episode. My heartfelt thanks to all of you, my heartfelt gratitude to my beloved. In episode 399, I was reading few pages from a book, A Peep into Sahaj Marg. The title was Some Common Errors in Meditation. Where I left in episode 399, I am continuing from there, and today this will be the concluding episode. It goes like this: first few lines from the previous episode, and then we will move to new one. The other error, perhaps the most serious one, relates to the abnormal rush of thoughts during meditation. This is generally annoying to an abhyasi, though in fact it is not if it is properly dealt with. The ceaseless flow of thoughts is not confined only to the meditation hours, but it continues every moment. But it is more acutely felt during meditation because at that time we try to make ourselves empty of all thoughts and ideas. In other words, we try to create a thought vacuum in our conscious mind. Now, just as the rush of air towards the vacuum is stronger, so must the rush of thoughts be more forceful towards the thought vacuum. There is a huge storage of thoughts lying buried in the deeper layer of consciousness. Now we'll read further. When, by the effect of meditation, a void is created in the conscious mind, the buried thought rise up and force their passage into the void, affecting our grosser consciousness to some extent. The mind being unregulated begin to move in conjunction with them, creating all sort of troubles and disturbances. It is in fact not the rising of thoughts that is annoying to an abhyasi, but his own over attention to them which brings him into direct conflict. The reaction thus caused makes thoughts all the more powerful, and trouble is aggravated. The commonly advised process for dealing with the situation is the suppression of mind by means of forced restraints and physical mortifications. Mind is generally represented as a restive horse which requires a sharp whip for keeping it under control. But the whip may serve as a means to keep the evil tendencies of the mind suppressed for a short while, not allowing them to materialize into action. In other words, the evil within is retained just as it is, and only its outward action is checked. How far this can be successful is a matter of serious doubt unless the mind is physically disabled to move that way. For the poison of evil buried within may at any time begin to display its action when perchance the control is relaxed. That means a lifelong game of contest involving all the risk of reverses and failures. Besides this, the physical suppression by strangulation of mind leads to internal grossness and renders the mind incapable of higher ascent in subtler planes. It is in fact, it is in fact not the controlling of mind that is suited to our purpose, but its right molding and the proper regulation of its activities. This can be effected not by the use of whip, but only by purging out the evil through the process of internal cleaning. This is only effective way for the transformation of the real being of man. Unfortunately, there are some amongst the teachers professing to guide the people in spirituality who apply their material will force for suppressing the thoughts in order to create a state of coma. The Abhyasi, who is incapable of understanding its true spirit, feels greatly impressed since offers him a sort of sensual pleasure, which is grossly misinterpreted as anandam. Nothing related with the working of sense can offer the real anandam, and this being only a play of senses is far away from the range of spirituality. The state of suspension, commonly misunderstood as peace, is likewise another serious error. It is more like a state of senselessness caused by the effect of chloroform, hence, not the least spirituality in any way. Besides, the suspension of thought is greatly harmful for another reason too. If the buried thoughts are kept suppressed in the mind, the chances of bhoga or consumption are stopped. There can be no liberation unless the process of bhoga is complete. Thus, the suspension of thoughts bars the doors of liberation forever. For our spiritual purpose, it is essential to make ourselves free from thoughts as far as possible. But it can never be effected by means of suppression, but only be throwing out the poison from the mind, which would stop the creation of thoughts. The rising of buried thoughts helps to exhaust the store by effecting their bhoga. Thus, in due course, the abhyasis become free from them and attain a harmonious state. His mind, his mind lake is thus free from the ripples, and the reflect calmness begins to prevail within him. The proper course would therefore be to pay no heed to the thoughts arising in the mind during meditation and to remain unmindful of them, treating them as uninvited guests. In this way, their intensity will be lost and they will cease to be source of disturbance. Thank you so much. And once again, my heartfelt thanks to all of you and my heartfelt gratitude to my beloved master for helping me to reach this 400th milestone. Thank you.